there's been a lot of discussion about artificial intelligence. I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about, this whole chat GPT thing, and how lawyers can potentially use it to improve their firms. So I want to ask you, what has stood out to you the most when it comes to law firms adopting like AI technology?
Yeah, what's stood out the most, I think, is the last like 5 or 6 months have been really interesting because I think everything started accelerating way faster than anybody expected. I was speaking with the folks from Case Text the other day, and one of the things that they mentioned was that, that's the world that they're in, is in AI. And they frankly felt that where we are right now is something that they would have said is where we'll be in 5 years. And now we're here now. Whatever it was, a kind of a dam broke, and all of a sudden, and I think ChatGPT had a large part of it, all of a sudden the technology was just good enough that everyone finally stood up and said, oh, wait a minute, this has potential. And we've seen it. We've got law firms investing in their own, not in their own, but in various products that utilize generative AI in some way. Folks are now more willing to talk about AI. I mean, there's been AI embedded in a lot of legal products, and after the hype cycle of several years ago, people have stopped really talking about it as AI and started referring to it by different things so that it wouldn't scare the lawyers. People no longer have to do that. People understand what it is now. And it is really amazingly fast how this has developed.
So I think, and this is true of a lot of industries, because I know that we had a scare with AI. We were like, this is a call center, right? We're made up of human labor. What we promise is that we have the human element, the human touch. So one of the scares, I think, in this AI coming out for us was that we would all lose our jobs to a force like ChatGPT, right? But many are speculating that AI could eventually end up taking over what I would speculate as a majority of the work that lawyers do. So how much of a concern do you believe this actually is for the attorney community?
So I have two prongs of that, actually. I think that as far as lawyers as a whole profession, I don't think it has a real risk. Ultimately, there are going to need to be calls that are made by humans. There are going to be situations where the creativity element is critical, even when the law says, in some ways, especially in litigation, sometimes you're trying to advocate for something new. If the law is what it is, but you want it to be changed, the AI has a harder time figuring out how they're going to want to change it, right? They can tell you the answer, not the new thing. So I think as a profession, it's fine. The big risk for me is in the training aspect, because a lot of what's going to happen with this AI is it's going to start cutting into the junior roles, because those are the roles that are most easily automated. And unfortunately, at a certain point, where do you get those senior smart lawyers if they didn't come up through those junior ranks? And I don't know as though law has grappled with how it's going to train people to become the next generation of smart lawyers if they aren't the ones on the ground doing these little tasks that AI can pretty easily take over in the next few years.